I met Tim Burke in 1989, 1990 when I was a city councilman in Bellevue. Tim and Terri had moved to Bellevue to be the area managers of the People Natural Gas facilities in the Bellevue-Sarpy County area. I met Tim first and later met Terri and got to know both of them very well over the last almost 30 years.
I came to work at OPPD. It's going on 8 years. Tim Burke is the one that had hired me to come join OPPD. I had a summer job here 35 years ago, and about 8 years ago I made the choice that I wanted to come home and be part of the OPPD family.
I knew them I was the youth minister at St. Mary's, and I had Matt, Pat, and Joe in ministry, and that's how I initially met them as parents, and I was the youth minister.
Well, and then as part of that, we were one year asked to sponsor some seminarians from some different countries, and the Burkes were asked to get 2, and we got 2. We didn't really know what to do with them, and so we went to the old market, and we were just walking around down the old market, and this bridal party came up to us and said, "We need you to sing us a song." And so Tim and I, we didn't discuss, we barely knew each other, dropped down on one knee and busted out, "You've lost that love and feeling." And
well, when I think of the Burkes, I think of a couple different functions that they do that kind of make them extraordinary. One is that they have a deep faith. They're really active in their church, St. Matthew's in Bellevue. They serve in different capacities in the church, so I know that the faith for them is very important.
Community has always been a huge part of, I think it started kind of with my dad's job, and the fact that he was in so many organizations, involved with so many organizations, that kind of filtered down all the way to us, volunteering, just being involved at our school. And then, after my mom raised us 3, not only was she just, really involved at school and helping with that, but then she started kind of on her community involvement, which was volunteering in areas that she saw need, that she saw that she could provide value, and to people who were really kind of most vulnerable.
I worked at Mercy Housing, and Terri came with me. It's a low-income property, and we worked with at-risk youth. And Terri came several times a week to help with the after-school program for kids that they were behind, because the population was, a majority of them were refugees, so they didn't speak English. So we did that for 8 years together. And then Tim, anytime I asked him, we had young men that were at risk. We didn't know if they would be able to make college, and so we invited Tim to come in and speak to them, and Brian. And they talked to them about their potential, what they were capable of, how to discern what you want to be in life, that kind of stuff. And a lot of our kids went to college. And Tim had a very big part to play in that, and so did Terri.
If people lived their lives like the Burkes do, the world would be a much better place.
Yeah, the thing that always impressed me about my mom and dad was I don't remember them ever really doing things for themselves. It's always been about one of us 3 or collectively us 3, or they've been a part of boards or organizations or the schools that we were attending. So they've always gone out of their way to make sure everybody else was happy, comfortable, or had what they needed, and then kind of always backed into the things that they wanted or needed. And Joe and I were actually joking a little earlier that the first time I remember my parents doing anything for themselves was after we all left the house. They put in a bar in their basement. And that was like the first time I was like, oh, they're treating themselves. The rest has always been about other people.
They're just amazing people. They're genuine, they're kind, they're fun, they're welcoming. I mean, there just aren't enough words, to describe who they are, because they're just awesome people. People say that, but in this case, it's really, really true.
He is out in the communities at all times, and really, I would say he's really never off, in our line of work, because what we do for a living is so important. We're on 24/7, and He is inclusive both with our communities as well as our employees.
What I appreciate the Burkes is they're great role models for their family, and they're great role models for the community. They are very active, they're very fun. I always tell people fun is part of what makes them go. Tim's always dreaming things up to do that are fun, and Terry's kind of the voltage regulator that says, well, we're having too much fun, maybe we need to scale it back a little bit. But they're very involved, they're very fun, they're very loving people, and they've been great friends, and it's been a great honor to work for Tim in the years that I've been at OPPD.
Yeah, and then all three of us went to Catholic grade schools and high schools, so community involvement, we were doing it, you know, from first grade all the way to our senior year of high school. But it wasn't until my mom, for me, was when she was working at Crestview that I actually saw how important that community service can be. She did some after-school programs with these students who were overlooked by their teachers, given up on. Maybe they were reading below their grade level, and to see my mom spend so much time with these kids to teach them and show them, just, you know, give them the time. She wasn't even like teaching them necessarily, but just showing them that she cared about them, she cared about their education. To hear her stories about how these kids progressed, it just really touched me. And that was when I first kind of, you know, learned that what my parents were doing, it was really important, and that this community service goes a long way if you just kind of give it the time to do it.
Tim has a band called the Shenanigans, and his boys play with him in the band. You'll meet Brian Kaufman later on, and Brian is one of the band members too. So it's a great outfit. It's a great outlet. They like to have fun. Terri is one of their greatest fans. So
Tim founded the Shenanigans a
20 years
long
ago.
time ago. He was studying at MIT and would go to this bar and was listening to this Irish music and started singing along, and finally they said, hey, why don't you come up here and sing? And so he did. Then him and one of his nephews started the band, and we went and saw them once. I didn't know his nephew. I think this may have even been before we really officially met. And a couple years later, after we knew each other, he knew that I played some instruments, and he got me to play the bass in that band. And then one of my sons joined, and two of his sons were there before that, and so it's just evolved into a family fun. Before every show, we take a shot of a little Red Bull or 5 Hour Energy, and we say, this is for fun, and it's for our families, and so it's just very enjoyable.
Tim and Terri, congratulations. From myself, Steve and I are so proud of you and so happy to be part of the OPPD family. Thank you and congratulations.
congratulations, Tim and Terri, on your award from the Midlands Foundation at the Reflections Ball. If anybody deserves it, you guys do.
We just congratulations, you guys really deserve this award. We know how hard you work every day for this community, and we really appreciate it.
We love you guys very much, and congratulations.
Congratulations, Mom and Dad. We couldn't be more proud of you. You're both so deserving of this honor, and Mom, please stop crying right now.
We all love you so much. Thanks for all you do for us boys and for this community.